All right. That's it over. Week two of the stress reset. All right. So I had a great weekend. Just being around my wife and family. It was fun. It's kind of weird. As I watch this process take place as my family gets older, and just kind of where they're at in each of their life. And I've watched some of them in their health journey. Taking some of what I taught and some not so much, and how that's affecting them. And so I'm just grateful you're here, because I truly believe if people understood better, they would know how to do better. And it's really fascinating to me of how much misinformation we've been given. It really kind of blows my mind. So I'm grateful you're here. I'm going to promise you I don't know everything, but I've spent a long time learning what I have, and I'm going to give you some super common tools. So I'm going to flash something up on the screen here in a second, because at the end of the day, when it looks at overall health, is not a whole lot of magical to it or mystical. And what I mean by that is that your body, when you came into the world, the majority of us, like the body is designed to heal. Like it wants to. Now we all can heal at different rates based upon genetics, environmental stimulus, and other things, but like you have been programmed to heal. Now, some people were born into a really calm environment, a very healthy diet and lifestyle, and that was your normal habit. And so that's what you start with. Others were not. I think about my upbringing, which is definitely not normal. And what I mean by that, I was born into a house where we didn't know what an ice cream cone was. We didn't know what sugar was. We didn't know what soda was. We didn't know, all we knew was chiropractic. Like that was what I grew up with. So I thought that was normal. It wasn't until as I went throughout my life, I'm like, whoa, this is definitely not normal. And I still remember one of my children, because my house, I wasn't quite as strict as my dad. We called him the sugar Nazi. But my one of my second son actually went to the neighbor's house and told the neighbor, says, my mom said I could have some sugar. So sugar wasn't a thing at my house either. So hopefully what you're going to learn throughout this process is really the rules that govern your health. Because I think a lot of us just have not been taught the right rules. And not from a rule standpoint, this is what you have to do. Is it what we want to move? This is what I want to do. There's this concept that's called power versus force, which means we've all been told you have to do something. And this is kind of a concept I want to go with throughout this whole experience. There's this concept of power versus force, whereas if we're told to do something versus we choose to do something. Now, I even choose to pay taxes. Don't have to pay them, choose to pay them. And so what we want to do is make this health experience, because I know a lot of us, like we've made ourselves do things, right? Like I can't have this food, or I can't do this, or I shouldn't do that. We've kind of heard that. So I don't want to have it move in your mind space as a choice that we have, and we're choosing ourselves and we're choosing health. Is that fair? Because we come from that experience. Like, how many of you, by show of hands, like, have ever been told you have to do something? Like, and how much did you like that? Like, not so much. Like, I watch, and if you're married, try this. Ask your, tell your spouse you have to do something. Like, that's going to go really well, right? But what if someone asked you, "Hey, would you do this? Would you please help me with that?" Like, it's a very different experience of what we choose to do. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to start having a relationship with your mind and your body and your soul around this idea of a choice to choose you. Like, you're here, so I know you've chosen you. I've chosen you to, like, I want to make that next step in my journey towards health. And I really, I'm gonna tell you this right now, there's some stuff that's not fair. And so we want to kind of move past that. So there are things in life that's not fair. Trauma that's happened to some of us, um, difficult situations that just we didn't necessarily choose ourselves, that have led us to where we are. So all that, these behind us was, okay, what's the next best step we're going to take going forward? All right. So so I just want you to kind of go from that, come from that angle. We're going to always based on choice. And I want you to choose you. And then we're gonna have to start working on some of the things behind the scenes, because if we all know what's right to do, why don't we do it? So, and we'll come back on how to reprogram the mind and stuff like that. Okay. But I think a lot of people just weren't taught the correct rules. They just weren't. And part of it, they don't understand the game they're playing. They say the game is won or lost before the game even starts. Right. So if you don't know the rules, or if you're not playing to win, how are you supposed to win? All right. So if your goal, so I want you to kind of look through your process, like what is your goal in being here? Like, what do you really want to gain? Is it health? And what does that mean to you? Is that more energy? Is that better sleep? Is that more focus? Is that a different body composition? Is it just feeling like I have more mental focus, more mental clarity? Like, what does that look like to you? So I know I've sent that stress assessment out, and we're gonna go through that individually. But I want you to kind of just right now today, I want you to rank your health on a level of like A is just like awesome, or A plus is like I can't imagine getting any better, and F is failing. Like you don't have to put it in the chat, right? But I want you to just write that down. Like, where do you feel it is actually would be helpful to look at? Because some people think, hey, mentally and in my relationship, I feel like I'm really good. Like with, but like when it comes to my energy levels, when it comes to my sleep, when it comes to my food choices, when it comes to my exercise quality, like it's definitely like an F. Okay, so I'm gonna show something to you here. Let me pop this up for you. So no matter who you read, no matter who you talk to, there's some specific habits that are healthy for us. Now, we're going to work on incorporating these throughout this next few weeks because no matter who you are, and you're a human, I'm assuming. Okay. So if you're a human, right, there's these rules that your health is governed by that many of us don't understand. All right, so I want you to kind of and you'll get this list. I already sent it to Joe, and he'll send it out to you guys. And just rate it like an A to an F, like consistency of sleep, daily movement, and that's again, movement's just where you start. That's like baseline. Right? If your goal is, hey, I want to have a certain amount of body composition, or I want to be super strong, like that changes things. So daily movement, anti-inflammatory nutrition, which you'll know a lot more about that in a couple weeks. Nervous system reset, like how calm and relaxed do you feel? How are your connections with people? Right? And I think a lot of us are re-navigating that post-COVID a little bit. Okay. Smart supplementation, which when I go over that with you guys individually, you'll know what you specifically need. What you're doing to digitally detox. Like obviously what we're doing right now, right, is the opposite because we're in front of computers and most of us are in front of them all the day long. How to help your system detox, and then purpose and mindset. So just kind of rate those like, okay, yeah, I've got this sleep thing knocked out. Like I go to bed every night, same time, same place. I sleep like 8 hours a night. Don't ever wake up. I feel freaking amazing on my sleep cycle. Maybe your movement, like, yeah, I got some work to do. Maybe I'm gonna see. But I want you to assess where you are right now as of today. Like, where are you sitting at just on each one of these? Okay. And then I want you to just look at them real quick for me. And I want a little feedback on this. Which one's the easiest and what would be the hardest for you? Do you feel? And throw that in the chat. And I have to admit, for me, the one I really want to work on, and this is kind of, is my sleep routine. I'm driven all the time, so I don't want to go to bed. Like I'll get reading something or studying something or whatever. I get going, and that's where I was in college. Like I would study to crazy hours, but then I wake up early just because I have it. So if I had to choose one that would probably make the biggest impact on me right now is to focus on that. And that's my commitment to you guys and myself. That's my focus, is to be much more consistent on when I go to bed and how long I sleep and when I wake up. So pick the one that to you, like I've got this one mastered. and this one not so much. So when it comes to my purpose and mindset, like I'm that's like a daily routine for me. I'm always working on that. But that's just I've been like that for 20 years. So pick the one for you, okay, that you want to focus on this week. Okay, got it? Everybody got it? All right. All right, let's come back to something here a second. Can you guys see that screen where it's got the color?
No, it's still just a summary page.
All right, let me bump this one over. Thank you. Appreciate the feedback. All right, see that? Adrenal glands? Okay, all right. So remember how we talked about this right here last week? That we're all going through a stress cycle. Okay. So I want you to assess where you're at. Like, are you in a phase where when you go through a stress, you can calm yourself down? Because this is kind of the foundation. Like, because no matter what we do as far as like rebuilding your adrenal glands, giving you what you need, we have to understand this cycle. Everybody have a pretty good grip on that. Like, hey, yeah, I know I felt stressed in the past, or I feel stressed now. Do you feel like you can get calm back down? Or do you feel like I just cannot? Like I just I don't no matter what I do, like it takes me forever to calm down. Okay. And then I want you to come back to this phase right here. Where do you feel like you're at in this cycle? Do you feel like, hey, I still feel driven, I still feel good, or I feel like I'm dragging, I'm losing hitting water, you're just flat out burnout. Like where do you feel like you are starting? Because that's gonna matter, right? The cool thing about being completely burnt out is that you almost don't have a choice. Right? But I'd rather you guys be in this phase where we're making these other choices to actually get our system in a whole different phase. Okay. And this is what we're up against. Like, and who can you relate? Right? Like, just these are the barriers. Like, let's just be honest. Some people I just feel too overwhelmed, too stressed out, or they say I just don't have time. Like, how many times have you said this? Foods like healthy foods too expensive. Okay, don't know where to start. Like no one around helped me doing this. I failed before, so why try again? Like how many of you guys relate to this? Okay, so that means just so you know, you're normal. And I'm gonna say something really mean right now. You're just not that special. And what I mean by that is that you have the same complications as other people. So your challenges, even though they might feel unique to each one of us, they're not unique to you. But here's the cool thing. Like if we're not that special, okay, well then teach me some habits and some skills that'll just help me have more success. Right. And here's the cool thing. So when I work with teenagers a lot of nights this last week, they'll tell me all these different things, and their mom's sitting over here in the corner, and I always ask, who's in charge of you? So the answer is always the same. Anybody remember what I said? I don't know if I said this last week or not. I always tell them like whoever wipes your hiney is in charge of you. Now, of course, teenagers love when I say that. Like they think that's just awesome, especially teenage girls. They're like, just what? That's gross. I said, whoever wipes your hiney is in charge of you. So no matter what decision, no matter where you are in life, I just want you to take ownership. Now, it doesn't mean you haven't had things happen to you that were outside your control, that have influenced or impacted your health. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you're responsible for where you are right now and the decisions you make moving forward. And I want you to embrace that so that when you're in charge of you, that means you're also can get the results you want if we make different decisions. But we're not going to make 10. Like I don't want you to go here and try to make these 10 decisions, right? This is not my goal. Like to try to do all 10. That is not it. We're going to focus on a system to help you incorporate these over the long haul. But number one, understand like there's probably one or two you've already done. And you may say, oh, this is the one, like if I can do that one next, that would probably make the biggest impact. Okay. All right. Now, any questions on that so far? Okay. So I want you guys real quick in the chat. I'm going to stop this share just a second because I want to see the chat. What would you say is one of the hardest things for you to do? Just throw in the chat when it comes to what you know you should do. Like, what is the thing? This is the hardest thing for me. Remember, we're not that special. We're gonna. What we got? Okay, I actually love this consistency. I don't like cooking. It's perfect. um, uh, okay, discipline, consistency. You see how common the consistency is? Like this, and I have to admit, like discipline and consistency are probably like what comes down to for most people. Now, but did you know you're already very disciplined at doing what you're doing? You are consistently inconsistent, right? Now, by show of hands, how many can relate to that? Like I am good at that. Like I'm freaking amazing at that. So just know, like that's normal. So now that's okay. So here's what we're gonna do. How many of you are really good at something? Like how many of you brush your teeth like without a doubt? Like it just happens. Like it's just a routine. Like I think a lot of people they're in the habit of doing that. Okay. Like how many of you actually wipe your hiney after going to the bathroom? I know this is gross. Okay, but how many of you do it? All right. So I highly doubt there's anybody that misses that. Okay. And right now you already have habits. There's already something you do every time right after you brush your teeth. There's already something you do every time after you go potty. So the way you change a habit is you connect it to something else you're already really good at. That's it. Okay. So we're going to make a couple simple things. How many of you actually eat on a plate? Like actually you get a plate and you put food on it. That's kind of normal. All right. So here's what you're gonna do. Here's habit one. I want you to start this week because we all know that we probably should do better with our foods, right? Like we probably should. Yeah, well, we just know if we could probably make improvement. Like I don't. There's only a handful of people that I know that like their diet is so clean. Like I don't know what you could change, but I would say that's the minority of people. And so again, no matter where you're at, this is no judgment, but we're gonna start making some positive changes. So number one, when you eat, you're gonna get a plate, but you're getting the smaller plate. You guys have big plates and small plates? Like a lot of us do, right? We have these big plates, then we have the small plates. Okay. So you're gonna get the small plate. Now you're if you're married, okay, or living with somebody, they're gonna be like, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing? Because you're just gonna get the small plate. Because I guarantee you, whatever size of plate you're using is what you're feeling. Okay, that's the one habit. You're already getting the plate, one just a small plate. Now you may fill it up again, that's fine, but we're gonna start with that one simple habit of the small plate. Are we good with that? Okay. And here's the number two thing, because when it comes to food, like how many of you are gonna eat today and never eat again? Anybody? So we know for the rest of our lives we're gonna eat food like again today and probably tomorrow and probably for the rest of our life. So let's just learn to embrace this process that food is part of us. And I want you to understand, this is something I learned from, I know Sabrina's a good friend. Are we fueling or are we feeling? Right. So I'm going to start with a small plate and we're going to fuel, not feels. A lot of us eat our feelings. Okay. So here, that's one small plate. Two is you're going to eat your vegetables first. Okay. Now these aren't life-changing things, but just eat vegetables first. So let's say you don't like to cook, right, Sabrina? Right? Don't like to cook. Okay. Have you ever noticed you just eat what's at the house? Like most of us, like we just kind of whatever's there is what we eat. Now, who now by show it, like I want to know this in the chat. Who buys the food in your family? You? Okay, so if it's you, who's bringing in the stuff that's not good for you? Now, again, I didn't tell you I'm going to be nice. Let's just be honest. But here's the cool thing. Like, if it's you, that means you are in charge of you. How cool is that? Like, I don't have to blame it on anybody else anymore. I have to blame it on myself. Now that sucks, right? But that's okay, right? So number one, remember small plate, okay, and you're gonna eat your vegetables first. Now, by doing that, it's gonna start shifting out. You're already eating, it's something you already do. You just eat your vegetable first. All right, what that means is, and that it's just fruits or vegetables. Okay, I want you guys to throw in the chat for me here. What is your go-to snack? Like, you know, right now you can go get it. Like, it's in your house. Whatever it is. I don't care if it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent. I have to, for me, it was chips. Like, I freaking love like chips and salsa. Like, it's ridiculous. There's something wrong with me. So I told my wife, do not buy those anymore. Like, I don't do the shopping unless it's on Sundays. I do the cooking, so I'll go get what I'm gonna get. Okay, grapes, dark chocolate covered honeycomb. All right, Joe. Ice cream, okay. All right. Sweet potato chips, nuts, fruits. When I buy it, I eat it. Okay. So now, would any of you guys like buy like, let's say, poison and eat it like on purpose? Okay. I didn't think so. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a couple of simple changes. And I'm gonna ask you to commit to yourself. Like, this has nothing to do with me. Okay. But what if we just made one shift in what we buy from something that's this is the philosophy I want you to go off of: good, better, best. Okay, because odds are, like, most of us here, I think, are probably, I don't know the youngest in here. Like, I'm 50, so there are probably a few of you younger than me, right? Some maybe older than me. So the habits we all have are a result of decades, like decades, not just a week, not a month, not a year. So we can change things. So let's just start with a couple simple ones. Okay, if we do these couple something, we link it to something we already do. So I'm going to go to the cupboard, right? I know I'm going to go to the cupboard to get a plate. Which plate we going to get? Doing the small one. Okay, doing the small one, right? Okay. Then the next habit shift that we're going to start having, because we're going to go through all the whys on this. Let's give some stuff, a couple of things we're going to start with. So small plate, and make certain healthy foods convenient. Okay, now that can be, because you're going to snack. I guarantee you, probably every single one of us today are going to go get a snack. Is there anybody not going to go get a snack today in your house, like at some point in time? Probably not. But what's available to you, right? I think Calvin here is thinking, oh man, I got something I got a snack coming on. All right, but what's available to you? Cheese sourdough bread? That's awesome, Kathleen. All right. So make it convenient to just, because how many of you felt guilty when you ate something? Like, you ate it, it's like, I shouldn't eat that. Okay, and you even know, like, when you eat it, it's like, that's gonna be bad. Like, I know I'm not gonna feel good, but I want it so bad. How is that possible? How is it you can eat something like you want it so bad, but then a couple minutes later you feel guilty about it? Like, how does that make sense? Like, do you guys know that your biology has been hijacked? So I'm gonna give you a little thing. So it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So in the 1970s, the tobacco industry bought the food industry. So they put their chemists to work at making the foods taste good and crave them. We've all heard the saying, you can't just have one. What commercial is that? Put it in the chat. Can't just have one, right? Right. Potato chips. Like, we know that. So how is it possible that you can't just have one? Okay, and the whole super size me thing, That again, they're using your psychology. Why would you like, why would they ask you, hey, would you like to supersize that? Okay, because your brain is based on scarcity. So if I give you more, they're like, well, that's a deal. I gotta do it. So just understand that a lot of marketing is based around using your psychology. So you have to be aware enough of that. So understand that the foods that you're eating. So here's how I want you to think about this way. How many of you have watched a kid throw a fit when they didn't get their broccoli? Like, have you ever seen it? Like, I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure it's probably possible. But how many of you have watched a child throw a fit in the grocery store or somewhere else, right? If they didn't get their soda, they didn't get their sweet, they didn't get their potato chips, their Takis, their whatever Cheetos. I have my bag of Cheetos right here. You know how many kids have like seen these and wanted these in my office? Okay, why do I keep these in my office? Right? Here's my Gatorade and my Monster or Red Bull, I guess that was. I want people asking these questions. So understand that your biology is being hijacked by chemists. So how many of you ever have seen somebody get taken advantage of? Whether that was a family member, whether that was a child, or manipulated? How many of you have seen that? Like, how many of you have seen that and it actually makes you angry? Okay. So I want you to get a little mad right now because anger will always help you move things. Understand that your biology has been hijacked in a horrible way and that people are making profits off of you. So when you're creating things that you know are not good for you, understand there's somebody behind it making money on you, taking advantage of you. So do it for your kids. Just understand, like I understand that that's a real craving. Like I mean, this food that we know is not good for us. I have empathy for you. Like I know it's hard, but understand that's chemicals that have been placed in your food to make you eat more. Because if you eat more, they make more. Let that sit with you a little bit. All right. So if you'll do that, it'll be easier to make the decisions that you want to make. So imagine watching a child like get to a point where they can't do things mentally because of the food choices they've been given. Like I don't know about you, but I wasn't raised on Cheetos and Cheez-Its. Like they weren't around. But how
We lost him, right? Okay.
Yeah, he froze, so I don't know. So how's everybody doing?
Morning, Sherida.
Good morning.
Why don't you tell us about how you ate Cheetos as growing up?
We did not eat Cheetos growing up. We didn't even have them.
I just can't
anything
imagine a
about
life growing up in a household like that. I mean, it just
Like
blows
we
my
didn't.
brain.
My mom made everything. Like we didn't even buy pizza. Like my mom made pizza. Like until we moved to the valley when I was 8. So like my younger years were like we didn't have restaurants in Holbrook, Arizona.
He's
Hey,
back.
we're entertaining him for you.
I'm not sure what happened. Where did it freeze at?
Hmm.
The
You were talking
beginning.
about not having Cheetos growing up.
Okay, all right, perfect. Okay, all right. So yeah, it makes sense. So just think about, so just understand, I want you to get angry about this. And I got my nephew here on here, Weston, and he loves eating, excuse the French, shitty food because he craves it so bad. Okay. And what I'm saying is understand that I wish it wasn't true. I wish that I could trust that the government had my best interests at heart, that industry has my best interests at heart. Like I wish I could tell you that I have confidence in that, but I don't. I have confidence that there are a lot of people out there that do not have your best interest at heart. Okay. And so, and actually, truthfully, I should encourage people to eat crab because I make more money. Like, and I know that's super bad to say, but like the sicker somebody is, the more money I'm going to make off them. But I also understand that when you don't have control over food, you don't have the control of your biology, you don't have the energy you desire. So it's really tough to do the things that you love to do. Because this human form we have, this body and this mind we have, gives us our ability to do the things that we love. So if it doesn't feel good, it's going to be tough to do those things. And when it comes to food and how it affects you mentally and physically, it takes over your biology and then over your self-control, and then you're in this vicious cycle. All right. And so I truly believe that the truth will set us free, and we got to understand, okay, let's set the rules. So we're going to come back to what we talked about this earlier. We're going to start by choosing the small plate. Right? That's what we're going to start with. We're going to go off this concept of good, better, and best. And we're going to make it more convenient to eat the foods. So we're going to start with our fruits and vegetables. We're going to start with our fruits and vegetables, correct? We're going to start with the fruits and vegetables and make them convenient for us. Now, does that mean you're never going to eat the other stuff? I know that's not true, right? I know that. But I want you to be aware, and if you'll keep things in your forefront that make you angry about the food industry, you'll probably make different decisions. So when I watch things and I watch kids struggle, or I watch people struggle not being able to do the things they love, I actually keep a mental note of that because that helps me be stronger in making the decisions that I need to make. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we're gonna get a small plate. We're gonna eat our vegetables first. Okay, just again, but it doesn't have like we just make those two changes. We're gonna go the right direction. Okay, now we already had this conversation around you guys do brush your teeth, so that's amazing. Super proud of you. Okay, it's good. All right, so we're gonna connect one other habit there. Okay, one of those habits is I want you when you brush your teeth, I want you to be listening to something that's inspirational. Okay, we're gonna start our day, end our day brushing our teeth, right? But I do not want you to look at your email or social media or anything like that first. I want you to choose something that's inspirational, whether that's scripture for yourself, whether that's a podcast for yourself. Like there's several that I like, but I want you to start your day. You're gonna brush your teeth, and you're gonna brush your mind. Okay, simple. Okay, can I have that commitment from you guys? Just simple. Choose a podcast. Like I don't care. There's some amazing ones out there. I listen to one. It's a business one. It's called Darren Daily. It's a free thing, but it's like 5 to 10 minutes. But it's all about business and mindset. And for me, I like that. Okay, so just whatever that might be for you. There's lots of great ones out there. Even if you just go to YouTube Inspirational, there's tons of them out there. But start your day that way. Okay, that's your brushing your teeth in the morning. Okay, hopefully you brush your teeth in the evening too. So what I'd love to have you do when you brush your teeth in the evening, there's something that happens is that you start your wind down process. So you listen to something that's calming by nature. All right. So here and this goes along with that one. Once you brush your teeth, is then the phone's over for the night. Right. The goal of like let's remove the blue light from our experience at that point in time. Now, how many of you right now are in a habit, and no shame in it, of scrolling on your phone or watching TV or something like that to distract your mind before you go to bed? It's very common. Like it just so you know, like this is it's kind of normal. Like it's kind of the abnormal not to. that's because we've learned to use it. Now, again, no judgment if you're like, oh my gosh, that's too much right now. Okay. Just be aware, eventually that's the direction you want to go, but I don't want you to just eliminate it. I want you to replace it with something else. It's always easier to replace it. And so what I would say is, like, just throw in the chat here for me if you guys would, like, if you could like choose a setting where you're relaxed and calm, where you feel like it's just super calming, where would that where would that be? Would that be an ocean? Would that be the mountain? Would that be by a river? Like, would that be by a firelight? Would that be a rainstorm? Like, throw in the chat, like, for you, like, where would that calming experience be? Your grandchildren are calming? That sounds scary. Okay, mountain with the river, ocean, beach, mountain, trees. All right. I want you to just, if you would, like, start putting that background noise on in the evenings. And you can, I mean, obviously you can do it through your phone, which are, or you can have these little devices that do that. But I want you to start like doing that as a habit at night. So that you start replacing the scrolling with something that you love. Now, ideally, it'd be great if we could all go live in the mountains, right? Or by a beach and just enjoy that. And most of us, we just don't, right? It's just like this routine day we're in. And these things here become so common, we kind of use them for everything. Let's just, well, let me just ask this. Is there money made in advertising? How many of you have had your phones like give you something that you were talking about? You're like sitting there talking, having this conversation, like, what the heck? How did that happen? My wife didn't believe me, so one day I said I just started talking about toenail fungus just for fun, a whole bunch of conversation about toenail fungus, and like later that day she kept getting advertising for toenail fungus. Just understand, because your mind it's constantly going, is that this is designed to make money. Okay, so get mad about that because it's your choice whether you use this. You actually pay for this thing, to use it every month. Okay, every month, and then you pay a subscription to ship stuff to you really fast. Like, we do these things because we want them. Okay, so what I want you to do is we're just going to do a couple of simple things, and so at the end of your day, I want you to just, okay, what environment would I like to go to sleep in, and set it up that way. Again, so we're just a couple of real simple changes, like we're brushing our teeth, right? We're already doing that. We're just going to listen to something inspirational in the morning while we do it, right? You don't want to listen to, whatever else. Your mind's already doing other things. So your mind's already thinking, just give it something else to think about. Now, can this change your life? Absolutely. These couple of simple things, small plate, inspirational things in the morning, can absolutely change your life. Now, what does this have to do with the stress reset? Everything. Because your stress begins when you wake up, and it either leaves you or goes with you to bed based upon what you do. Now, if you're married to your stress, we're gonna have to work on that one someday, but I don't know what to do about that one yet. Okay, so small plate, inspirational stuff in the morning, and in the evening, we're just gonna not use our phones to scroll with. We're just gonna go ahead and start by doing some type of like background something or other to help make that shift. Now, just so you know, if you're not perfect at this, it doesn't matter. We're gonna start the process. Okay. Because what if you make this one change and it becomes a new permanent thing? How different will your life look in 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months? Vastly different. Let's just imagine, like, if you didn't buy that 1 or 2 foods that man, I need to not have this anymore, and you don't eat it for the next 6 months to a year. Like, what might change? As simple as that one thing is. Or if you just start filling your mind with something a little different in the morning, what might change? Okay, so we're gonna give you one more link. So we've already linked brushing your teeth to a mindset. We're going to do a smaller plate instead of a bigger plate. Okay, not a big deal. And brush your teeth at night, you're going to do some type of like relaxing nature sounds. Okay. Now, and I linked, like, remember we linked this idea of something to make you mad, right? Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. How many of you have been really upset at yourself for some reason or another? Right? And if you haven't, it'd be weird, right? And in that moment, like you would have made a change, okay? And then how many of you have somebody in your life that you would just absolutely just like do anything for? Throw in the chat who that'd be. If you do anything for this person, like, and not necessarily do it for them, you want them to see you. Like you'd be so sad if you disappointed them. Like, who might that be? My daughter. How old's your daughter, Calvin?
Be 21 next month.
21. Okay. Okay. So my son, my daughter, my mom, my Nana. I love that. Okay. So there's a phrase that I still think about probably weekly that comes to my mind all the time. I started a mission for a couple of years, and there's this one quote, my husband, my kids, I love that. And the quote was this. I was on a mission at the time, and there's this quote in one of the apartments. So with some guys that I served around, he says, "Are you the type of missionary your mom thinks you are?" That quote has stuck in my head that was when I was 19, so I'm 50, so 30 years, right? That this quote has stuck in my head. So I want to tell you a little secret. You ready? This is like an honest to goodness secret. If you don't know it yet, it's going to be life altering. Your kids do not hear you. Okay. They may pretend they do, but I guarantee you they see you. They watch what we do more than what we say. And that is pretty sobering for me. So what are our actions showing them? And this is a gut, it's been a gut check for me for years. And I always wondered, like, is this really true, right? Do they really see it? And I've had a few experiences in my life where my kids would say something to my wife that where I knew they were watching what I was doing. So just know these changes that I'm asking you to make are really so that we change the future of our children. So they see us do the things that we hope that they'll do. Because each one of your kids are going to go through a very similar experience that you are probably right now. How quickly they make that change, lots of times based on what we do. Now, this isn't like to guilt you into anything. It's to help motivate you to find that. So when you're thinking about a decision and you're like, okay, what would my help? I want my kids to see me do a certain thing because they're not going to hear me. Like at least they pretend like they don't hear us. Or it could be your mom, could be your grandma. Like, what do they see me do? Let's link it to that because you already have that motivation. There's stuff we've all done for our kids or for our family we wouldn't do it otherwise. We're just gonna link it to that. Cool, fair enough. All right. So we're gonna summarize some of the stuff we covered today. Okay. One is the concept of good, better, best in everything you do. I'm not looking for perfection. If perfection was the reality, it'd be like I can be perfect today, but this is a lifetime. Like this isn't about being perfect for a lifetime. It's about making positive change. Because most of us, we go back to that thing we said earlier, that overwhelm we get crazy overwhelmed. Like we're not gonna do that. We're gonna link it to things that we're already doing. So when we brush our teeth in the morning, right? We're gonna make one simple shift. We're gonna listen to something a little different. Okay, just creating that one habit. How many of you use sticky notes? I have one on my computer right here. How many of you use alarms on your phone besides my sister Sherda? Okay, right? So put a damn alarm on your phone, right? That when it rings off, it says you're amazing, right? Or whatever it is, like put an alarm on your phone that says, hey, I love you. How much water have you had today? Like whatever it is that dings at you every day. Like I wish my kids called my wife every day and say, Mom, I love you. That would be so awesome. Like that one of those things they're texting, I love you, right? So just something that every day, so I have sticky notes that I have on my computers that tell me stuff, and and my sister, she uses alarms. And that's for her, she created this habit and the strategies to do just that. So create that for yourself. Okay, don't try to don't try here's a discipline will fail 100% of the time. Like, it just does. Like understand that's just human nature. Don't try to be disciplined. Like if discipline worked, none of us would have a teacher at school. We could all just do online school and never have to turn an assignment in. That's not how it works. We have accountability, so learn to use that in your favor. All right. Then we're going to get a small plate to the big plate. That's going to be our new normal. Our new normal is we're just going to choose a small plate over a big plate. Okay. And we're going to end our day what? We're just going to start detaching from this thing here that is playing you. It knows what you're thinking. And just out of curiosity, now this is really not very nice. When you buy something, is it normally when you're like super awake and focused, or just like randomly when you're tired or worn out or feel less than? They understand that. Okay, that's why these little simple things will help it make this massive shift. Okay, all right. So there we go. There's kind of summary for what we want to do this week. Small plate. All right. We're going to start attaching something to brush your teeth in the morning and something to do at night. We'll talk about the toilet another time. The toilet part, and I know this is, none of you would do this, but however you take your phone in the bathroom with you and scroll. You don't have to answer me, right? There used to be these things called magazines, right? They were on the back of the toilet seats. I think my grandma had Reader's Digest or something like that on there, right? There's a quote that I can't remember who had it in their bathroom. It says the place where creative thoughts flow. So I'll let you enjoy that one. But what if because all of us go to the bathroom multiple times a day. Like as you think about this, what we kind of talked about today, like how could I use that time that I'm sitting there, right, to fuel my mind a little bit? You don't have to, right? But if you want to make it, just start attaching things that you want to do next to things you already do. Okay, and then like I said, let your kids, your nana, your husband, see what you want them to see, not hear what you want them to hear. As simple as that phrase is, it has everything to do with helping people start making those transitions. Okay. All right. This next week, what I want to do is try to get with each one of you that send me the assessment so we can go through and make sure there's two things I want to make sure it's happening that's easy and daily. The interesting thing about routine is that we do the same thing all the time. We want to just shift a couple of routines. So I want to make sure I've gone through the assessment with you, address the nutritional needs you need from a vitamin mineral perspective, because that's going to help. Because some of the cravings you have are a result of deficiencies you're having or lack of cellular activation, and we want to make sure you're doing the right things around that. Okay, it's just something I want you to do daily. Okay, so if you haven't set the assessment, if you would please do that, and then I'm gonna put a number in the chat here. Text this number. So that and just put assessment on that, and then I'll make sure I get a scheduled time with you to go over what you're doing. Okay. Cool. All right. So I'm going to open up for a couple minutes. I'm going to actually for any questions that you guys might have.
Let me chime in real quick for some announcements too.
Yeah.
There will be a community group where people can just kind of check in and say what's happening and where you're at and ask questions or share wins. And there's also just kind of like the program, it should be in the app inside the community if I am doing the tech things correctly. And then you have the program. You haven't gotten access to you got access to the email for the program, but I don't think anything was set up correctly. So if you need that again, let us know. And the group access will be coming sometime today.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Kathleen, if you want to just hit your space bar, you should be able to talk.
Yeah, so this is for Joe, I guess. He said that he received my completed quiz, but I need to take, or I could take it again. That would be great. Is that for me or was that for somebody else you were talking to above me?
No, you and Kelvin, we have your names on quizzes. Everyone else, we have your quiz, but I didn't have the name on there. I thought it would be attached with the tech with a sticky, but that didn't.
Gotcha.
So for the 7 people who have filled it out, your name wasn't attached besides Kathleen and Kelvin.
Interesting. This is why I'm not the tech guy. Yeah, but thank you. So I'll get with you. I'll just text that number. We'll get it. Just we'll get it scheduled. Any other questions? So if you would, what are some of the, what are one if you guys what are you gaining from this experience so far? And again, if you want to share, great. If there's some stuff you want to send me later, let me know. The goal is here is like I said, I want you guys to have the knowledge and then the tools, because I do know that health can absolutely change. I watched it happen for decades, but it just needs to happen in a format where we get consistency of doing the right things and realizing that I can do it. And just know like this it works and your body will work. We just have to unwind some of the stuff that's been done. All right. I appreciate you guys. So this recording, hopefully I'll be back up on for those that didn't get to watch it. Hope by later today, if not first thing tomorrow. Get your assessments. I try to get some of those done here in the next couple of days with people. If not, I'll do a lot of them on Thursday or Friday. And then next week, we're going to dive heavy into the nutritional side of things or the emotional. I haven't decided which one, because one of the biggest holdbacks people are going to have is the emotional part of like, how do I work through that process? Because getting your nervous system calm is probably one of the most difficult things that people haven't mastered yet, but it's what drives us all. Like when we crave stuff, that's when we're stressed. When we're not sleeping good, it's when we're stressed, right? And so, and just understand that we're going to give you some processes that help you start changing those habits. And the couple of things I already gave you today, if you'll just start implementing that, it will be life-changing in the next 5 years. Because when you change one thing, it changes everything. Because the one thing, because it's so out of order for your body starts doing different things. Just starts being nice to yourself. So that one attachment I said, like, who do you want to make sure that they watch you? That one thing, if that's forefront in your mind, it will change everything. And just know it's not your fault. Like some of the crap that's happened in your world, it's not, but it is our responsibility, right? For us, for our children, for our future generations, it is up to us. Okay, you are amazing. Again, I hope all the moms had an amazing Mother's Day. There's so many people that women in my life that aren't my mother that are absolutely amazing, have shaped my world. So grateful for each of you. The world would definitely be a not good place without the women. So, so you guys are awesome, and I will look forward to seeing you next Monday. All right, guys. See you later.
Thank you.
Welcome.